Hello, friends. It is I, the Rudie Librarian, back again to talk to you about a book. And I know it's been a hot minute since I've done a video, but ultimately I've decided, what motivates me to do these videos is when I'm really excited about a book or a record that I purchased, and I just want to tell you that's why I started this. Was I wanted to share with my students the books that I was excited about. And that was when I was teaching high school. And so now I'm not teaching high school anymore. I'm an elementary librarian, but I still have this passion for books and I want to share it with you. So let me talk to you about a book that I got that I absolutely love. And hey, shout out to my local public library because I checked this out through them, and not just through them, but actually through sort of an interlibrary loan collaboration, collaborative sort of consort that they have going on, where I can check out books from a lot of different libraries through them, which is one of the great things about public libraries. If they don't have the book that you want, they can almost always get the book that you want if you just talk to somebody. So, that being said, let me share with you these three books that I'm super excited to talk to you about. One of them, much more so than the others. The other two are good, but not amazing. This one is amazing. So, should I save the best for last? Let's save the best for last. I will say that whenever we get to this season, sort of the Thanksgiving break leading into Christmas break, I always want Chronicles of Narnia, Lord of the Rings, Harry Potter. I want those comfort fantasy stories that have come to mean so much to me over the years. Of course, I love Christmas movies. Elf is gonna play at some point, but I want that fantasy stuff that I love so much. So I went to my local library specifically in search of C.S. Lewis, J.R.R. Tolkien, What You Got For Me? And there was a book that I knew I wanted. While I was searching, I found this picture book that I had never seen before, and this is called Finding Narnia, The Story of C.S. Lewis and His Brother by Carolyn McAllister. I'm so sorry about the glare. By Carolyn McAllister, illustrated by Jessica Lannon. This book, and forgive me if I mispronounce anyone's name, let's see if we can see when this book was published real quick. Very quickly. I mean, quick maybe not, but let's see. This was published in 2019. 2019, and this is the first that I heard of it. So this is the story of C.S. Lewis and his brother Warner. A lot of people may not know, unless you've really taken the deep dive into C.S. Lewis, that his brother Warner and him were incredibly close. Warner was also an author, although primarily a historian, writing about history, and had published books as well. But C.S. Lewis and his brother, incredibly close, and their relationship, their imaginations as children, definitely something that fed into Narnia as it got on. This is a very brief, it just zooms through kind of picture book story that talks about kind of some of the things that led to Narnia. It's a good book. And it's got really spectacular images. Let's see. There we go. Never quite learned how to navigate that camera very well. There's, there's, obviously some sort of Narnian images, that kind of stuff. Overall, I enjoyed it. It's a quick read. I will probably get this in my library, if only for the fact, like my elementary school library, if only for the fact that I talk about Narnia a lot, and I love having those picture books that kind of tie into them. So this is one that I'll probably get for my school library if I can't find a picture book that I like a little bit better. But it is a good picture book about C.S. Lewis and the development of Narnia. I also saw this one, and I thought this was so interesting. This is Painting Wonder, how Pauline Baynes illustrated the worlds of C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien, written by Katie Ray Schoen. This is really cool because it's about the illustrator. I had seen her name before, but honestly didn't know very much about her. I wish this was a little bit more informational, gave a little bit more detail. It's, again, super brief. Some picture books go a little bit more in depth than others, and this one is really... it's beautiful to look at. It does give a very basic knowledge, but it just makes me want to know so much more. Now, there is a bibliography, of course, in the back, so I can dive in more deeply, and I probably will at some point. But all of this was because I went looking for this book, The Mythmakers. Now, this is a graphic novel on the remarkable fellowship of C.S. Lewis and J.R.R. Tolkien, written by John Hendrix, who is the New York Times bestseller and award-winning creator of The Faithful Spy, which that is a graphic novel about Dietrich Bonhoeffer. He has also published a graphic novel called The Holy Ghost and one called Drawing on Magic. I think it says, let's see, Drawing is Magic, Discovering Yourself in a Sketchbook. He's a professor and the chair of the MFA Illustration and Visual Culture program at the Sam Fox School of Design and Visual Arts at Washington University in St. Louis, Missouri. Okay, so let me tell you first, I discovered this book through a couple of podcasts. I discovered it a little bit through the Votive podcast, which is a podcast through Word on Fire Ministries, which is a Catholic ministry. It's hosted by Haley Stewart, who's someone I really love, also a wonderful children's author and adult author. So there's a really great podcast with him there. I also discovered it through the Rabbit Room and the sort of Hutchmoot podcast, I believe. And so just some great stuff there. I may have also seen some of it through Homebrewed Christianity. I can't remember if I got all three, but I definitely know there was some Rabbit Room connections, and then there was and Hutchmoot connections, and then the Votive podcast. So I was obviously interested in this, a graphic novel, sort of biography of two of my favorite authors. They are represented throughout the story as, let's see if I can see a good picture. You can sort of see this top picture here. Tolkien is sort of represented by the wizard and C.S. Lewis by the lion. But it goes in depth into their lives. And I'm going to be honest, I've read a lot of biographies about C.S. Lewis and Tolkien, and there were still a few things that I learned through this book that were remarkable, so interesting, so detailed. It goes into sort of a depth on the growing apart of Lewis and Tolkien that a lot of books don't. But it does it in a really beautiful way. And it really portrays both of them as very human. I highly recommend this if you're a fan of C.S. Lewis or J.R.R. Tolkien, because it was a really great graphic biography done in a very interesting story. You learn a lot about writing, you learn a lot about myth and fairy tale, and it's just really wonderful. There's even a character in here that sort of represents Dorothy Sayers. So yeah, I cannot recommend this enough. This is a 5-star book for me, maybe one of my favorite things I read all year. I will probably end up buying this for my library. And at this point, I don't do that a lot, just because we're limited on space and funds, like everyone else. But there are a few that will cause me to break out the wallet, and this is one that I will probably do that for. So, yeah, I can't recommend that book enough. And if you have an opportunity, I would encourage you to check this out, and you'll definitely learn quite a bit, not just about them, their friendship, their, time in the war, their experiences during World War II, and you'll really pick up on how some of those things fed into their fictional landscapes. So, all right. So out of the 3 books, we have Finding Narnia, Painting Wonder, and The Mythmakers. I would say Finding Narnia, probably a 3.5 to 4 stars. Painting Wonder, probably a 3-star. And Mythmakers, 5-star all the way. Highly recommend that you check it out. That does it for talking about these 3 books. I hope that you are able to check them out and see what you think about them. And I would encourage you, of course, to dive deep into the worlds of Lewis and Tolkien, especially during fall and winter when they feel so appropriate. And if you're not connected to the Rudie Librarian, like, comment, and subscribe here. Make sure that you're following us on social media, especially Instagram. That's the one I really use the most. And I'm going to have a post probably even before this goes up talking about a shirt that is on sale for a brief time that I really encourage you to check out. If you're a fan of Universal Monsters, werewolves, the Monster Squad, and libraries. It's got all the stuff. So anyway, have a great day. Thank you so much, and we'll talk to you later.